Here we go.
Video games are all around us, in our homes, on our phones, and at the store. Just about everywhere else. They have an official head referee, and even their own capital, Ottumwa, Iowa. So where did they come from? How did they get here? It all started in 1958. Physicist Will Higginbotham invents first video game ever, Tennis for Two. Unfortunately, it required a $100,000 computer to play, and it was only found at a few lucky college campuses. A couple years later, in 1961, we get Steve Russell, a student of MIT, who creates Space War, with similar expensive issues as Higginbotham's game. But in 1966, Ralph Baer gets the idea to bring this technology into the homes of America. And with some federal funding and a team, they successfully created a couple of games, but need some help to finish this project. That help came from a company named Magnavox. In 1972, May 24th, Magnavox released the world's first home console system.
Magnavox presents Odyssey, the electronic game of the future. Odyssey easily attaches to any brand TV, black and white or color, to create a closed-circuit electronic playground. Odyssey gives you all the exciting action of hockey and 11 other challenging play and learning games for the entire family. Odyssey, a new dimension for your television, now at your Magnavox dealer. He's listed in the yellow pages.
TV. Meanwhile, Nolan Bushnell and Todd Dabney are hard at work creating another world's first. In 1971, they successfully released Computer Space, the world's first arcade game. Unfortunately, most thought it was too difficult to play. Bushnell and Dabney enlisted the help of Al Alcorn and founded the company Atari. Their first games programmed by Al and was hugely popular. The game was Pong, released in 1975. Despite the fact that you can only play this one game on the cabinet, it was a Christmas miracle for Atari. In 1977, Atari released its first cartridge-based home system, the Atari 2600. Other companies began to take notice of Atari's success and wanted a piece of this lucrative business. Tons of competitors and clones flooded the market. Meanwhile, the arcade scene was starting to explode. 1978 marks Midway's release of Space Invaders to the arcade, a game that fueled competition with a new element to gaming, the high score. This game was so popular around the world it actually caused a shortage of yen in Japan. And in 1979, Asteroids makes its debut and adds the addition of entering your initials to claim your high score. In 1980, Battlezone, the first 3D game, is released. Also in 1980, we introduce game designer Toru Iwatani, who was asked to create a game that appealed to women. What do women like to do, he thought? Eating. His character design was inspired by a partially eaten pizza sitting in front of him. Pac-Man was born. Other games gained popularity too, like Missile Command and Defender. Meanwhile, the home console market was beginning to become too saturated. Video games were good business. Arcades were making billions every year, one quarter at a time. Home consoles were selling and bringing in cash too. Unfortunately, the market became super saturated. Cheap knockoffs and poorly created games became rampant in the industry, destroying customer loyalty and, more importantly, profits. One game in particular stood out from the pack, widely considered as the worst video game ever created: Atari's E.T. Atari spent millions on purchasing rights for E.T. from Steven Spielberg, and they rushed the creators to release the game before Christmas. The result was one of the world's worst video games ever made, and biggest flops and losses. Millions of unsold cartridges were buried in a landfill in New Mexico, along with the hopes and dreams of game makers everywhere. It appeared as if video games fad had come to a swift end. In 1985, a little company named Nintendo took a huge risk in bringing their system to America in a dying market. The NES, or Nintendo Entertainment System, made its debut and became hugely popular. With titles like Super Mario Bros. And Legend of Zelda, the video game market found new life. Over the next few decades, companies started jumping in. Sega found success with its Little Blue Hedgehog Sonic. Sony jumped in 1994 with one of the first systems to use CD technology and found success with titles such as Final Fantasy VII, Ridge Racer, and Tomb Raider. Microsoft finally joined the fight in 2001 with their Xbox and launch title they acquired from Bungie, Halo Combat Evolved.
Spartan 117, locked and loaded.
Master Chief helped Microsoft's Xbox become hugely popular. Fast forward to today. The market has expanded its reach. The video game market has become even bigger than the film industry. We have come a long way over the years, from this to this.
Sniper spree. Killionaire.
The video game industry has endured a lot of hardships, but have continually pushed the limits of technology and worked very hard to prove that they weren't just a fad after all. They're here for the long haul.